Hey guys, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hello World with your girl Joy from Be the Difference. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and spending a little bit of time with me. As always, you know that I am here every single night between 7 and 9. So you definitely don't want to miss it. I hope you guys had a beautiful day, and I hope that it was amazing. And I'm gonna always tell you guys how my day was. I look extra shiny right now, like somebody put glass on me, right? That's how I look right now, right? Like there's some glass on me. I'm all shining. Like somebody put a bunch of Vaseline on my face, ready for a fight, right? Well, anyway, that's just me. I'm a shiny person. Hey, Tracy, who's not Janana anymore, but just living her life. How are you? Hey, Tracy. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Tracy. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Hello World. Just return a song for you, my friend. Yes, it is I am so glad to see you tonight. Um, it's going to be an amazing topic. So, this is episode 91. Episode 90 was erased and blocked by our lovely friends from Netflix. And they kind of just went ahead and blocked me because I was watching TV with you guys. So, I was actually in an uproar last night. I was, I got my hair done again. Yes, I got my hair done. You see how the part is going to the side now? It's cool. I'm happy that it's fresh and clean. Definitely happy about that. But what happened was when I was getting my hair done, see, stylists know how to reel you in, like for real, reel you in. And she turned on When They See Us. So I don't know if you've heard of that documentary or that series, but it is a true life. It is based on true life events that happened to five young men who happen to be African American, from Harlem. I actually heard about it. Hey, Clem, from the Heat. um, so yes, so it was about five young boys aging between, like, I guess 14 and 16. Um, so it's a mini series on Netflix, and I believe there's four episodes. So the reason why I stayed there is because I got through the first episode and I was already in. She had me all the way, and I said, I gotta go do my show. And she finished my hair by like 7:45, but I was like, you know what? Maybe I could just do my show from there because she said I could. So I did my show from where I get my hair done. So if you were there live with me yesterday, you would have seen the whole surrounding and where I get my hair done and how beautiful and quiet it is. Because there's a lot of salons, especially salons that do natural hair, where sometimes there's a lot of people and it's very rowdy, may not be as clean. You can only imagine. But anyway, um, so I got through season one and I was already riled up. And then I was like, you know what? Let me do two for one, right? So I finished watching season two. I mean, episode 2 and 3, and I'm partway through 3, with you guys. So primarily, this is what happened. So, there's a group of young men running through Harlem. And hey, Jenny B, running through Harlem, going towards Central Park. And the five main characters, they kind of like show you where what they were doing that day and their lifestyle. So one of the young men, he had both parents in the household, and he was a good kid. All of the kids were good. And the other young man, he was actually like an A student, and another young man who he just skipped school a lot, but he was friends with the A student kid. And the other young man was a Hispanic boy, and he was just hanging out. So all of these five young men end up grouping up with the crowd because everybody's like running towards somewhere, and they're like, "Ooh, where they going?" So they just wanted to be a part of where they were going. So long story short, one of the kids had an opportunity to miss the whole entire event because he wanted to be he was an aspiring trumpet player, and his sister that morning had walked him to school, and they were talking or whatever. His mom was sick with whatever disease that she had. So when he saw the crowd, he was walking home from school with another friend who was like, "I'm not going with that. I'm just going home. I'll be late." So he ran home, put his trumpet down, saw his mother was sleeping, and then he said, "Okay, well, since she's sleeping, I'm going to go out." And he put his trumpet down and went with the rest of the crowd. Long story short, the crowd of boys ended up, one part of the crowd ended up, harassing different cyclists and punching and abusing other people who were in the park. And um, and what ended up happening was the police came. So the police came and everybody dispersed. So all of the kids ran in their own separate ways or whatever. So the kid who was the trumpet player, right? He jumped over a fence or a stone wall and was running, and a cop stopped him, tackled him to the ground, and just punched him. Okay, that's one. And one of the other kids who ends up, uh, knowing him, he ends up seeing the cop abuse him. And so the cop hit him so hard that he knocked him out cold. Like he hit him in the temple and his face. Um, Fast forward, um, so around that same time, a woman is found half beaten and almost dead, raped, and pretty much bound in Central Park, which was probably like not anywhere near where the boys were caught, right? So, of course, the detective, a woman, um, who was probably partially racist and also probably adventurous in wanting to, solve her first major crime, right? So she's like, "Oh, this is crazy." So initially, she says that she sees the trail marks of somebody dragging her, the woman, to that location where she was ended up being found. So, and she was only found by a patrol guy that happened to be walking through the park, a patrol cop. So she pretty much, it's like an unsolved story at this point because the girl is almost lifeless and there's no suspect, no nothing. But in her bright, idiotic, racist, um, and also wanting to become a superstar detective mind, she wanted to make it seem like finally caught a rapist or a person who abused someone in Central Park because a lot of cases had been reported, but they were unsolved. So what she did was relate the 30 young men, right? And said, well, we're going to have to pin it on somebody in essence. And that's what she did. So she had the other detectives hold most of the boys there. And then she just picked names randomly and pretty much said, like, we'll just use what we have. So the detectives decided to interrogate, like grown men, these young minors without their parents, without any consent, without lawyers or anything, for hours and hours on end. Now, mind you, some of these children, their parents did not know they were arrested. And then remember the guy that I was telling you who was smart with his friend? So the next day, the cop was like, "We need to round up everybody." So all the kids who actually got away, they just scoured through the streets and collected the names from the boys that were still in holding and just caught them. So the guy who barely went to school and the guy that was like a straight A student, they were walking out of a corner store and then almost crossing the street. And the one guy was like, "No, let's go." The one that missed school a lot, he was like, "No, let's go the other way." The detectives turned around and saw them and gathered them. And the one that was really smart, he had a ID, a bus pass ID, but changed the year to make it seem like he was 16. And so because the kid that did not go to school a lot did not want his friend to go down to the precinct by himself because he figured his mom would be mad, he went with him to the precinct. So now you have the light skinned kid who barely went to school, the really smart one who changed his ID. Then you have the young kid who was the trumpet player. We have our Spanish kid, and then there was one other kid, right? So all five of these, right? The detectives say, "We'll let you guys go if you just admit to raping a woman." Um, who is this? Let's see, guys. Um, hey, I'm on my show right now. All right, all right, all right, bye. So for about 18 hours, these cops were like pretty much interrogating 14-year-old boys and between 14 and 16-year-old boys, saying, "You better come on and admit to raping them." Now, mind you, these boys had no idea what sex was at that time. Not yet. Yeah. Yeah. And this was the New York City police, right? And it gets worse because inside the precinct, you'll see patrol guy, right? The detective is going after the young boy who's by himself at this point. And he said, "Well, come in the room." And the guy was like, wait a second, he's 14 years old." He was like, "Mind your business." And so that patrol guy just minded his business. So there's problem number one. Then number two, the detectives, whatever they did to those boys, and then they showed scenes of where the detectives were like literally punching and beating up one of the boys and like slamming them and handcuffing them to chairs so they couldn't even move, not feeding them, not offering them water. And they pretty much said, "Just admit it. Just admit that you raped a woman." They were like, "What are you talking about? What woman? What woman?" Like they literally had no idea about any woman, mind you. So they pretty much said, "Right, your friend Hector," I'm just using names right now because I don't remember. "Your friend Hector said you did it." He's like, "Hector, I don't even know who Hector is." He's like, "Yes, you do." He said he saw you raping a woman. Just admit it and we'll let you off. Just tell us what happened and we'll let you off. So ended long story short, they all ended up indicting each other and doing written statements forced by the police, still with no adult around, no adult presence, minors, and doing videos that they had to chop up in order to make it seem like it was cohesive. And so the main prosecutor, she even knew that this was a fallacy that the detective was bringing. She was like, "Oh yeah, we have a sock with semen in it." The sock that had came back with nothing, no link to the boys, nothing. And only one of the boys, the one that was the smart kid, his mom came in and was like, "How dare you try to interrogate my child? He's 15 years old. He has no guardian with him. You cannot interrogate him without somebody there." So before he signed, the mom pulled him out. So he was the only kid that was able to be pulled out. Let's fast forward to the court case. Court case, pretty much the poor woman who was raped and sodomized and all of that other stuff, right? The jogger, she ended up like pretty much she couldn't walk anymore. She lost the sense of smell. Um, she had problems with stepping up on stairs. Her arm had problems still, and like she couldn't remember anything. So basically, she looked, her life was ruined pretty much. She used to be an executive, an accounting executive. So she probably couldn't do her job anymore because you to be an accountant you need to know numbers good. You have to be accurate, and I don't think she could be accurate anymore. So they put her on the stand, and she says she doesn't remember. So there's no eyewitness, no anything to seeing these boys doing this. So they basically said that the boys, and mind you, there was no blood on the kids. There was no evidence, no DNA from that woman to any of those kids, nothing. And they ended up being convicted, found guilty. So the prosecutor for the state of New York pretty much said, well, the only reason why they didn't have blood on them is because they were bound it, holding her. I'm like, are you crazy? If and her jogging sweatshirt used to be white, and it was when she held it up in court, it was all bloody. And she said the only reason why they didn't have blood on them is because it was all on her clothes. But are you crazy? If she was being held down by five of those boys and they were beating her in the head, they would have marks from the pole that they beat her with. They would have marks from her fighting. They would have marks or blood underneath their nails. So you would definitely be able to get the end. These boys got 12 years. And this is a very true story. It is a very true story. You can look it up or watch the Harlem Five, or I think, on Netflix, it's called When They See Us. And then if you wanted to look it up on Instagram, I saw it on someone's page, and you pretty much can either look it up as the Harlem Five or um, you know, the Central Park Five, because that was that. And even back then, Donald Trump, when he heard about it, this was back in 1989, he took out an $85,000 campaign to try to um, send these boys for murder for a crime that they did not do. He didn't know, but he just said that they deserved death, the death penalty. So when the detectives were on trial, they clearly the defendants clearly proved that they were lying, but yet the jury, number two, the jury didn't even find them innocent. The head prosecutor who actually tried the case, she knew that they were innocent. The judge who was in the chambers listening to the tape that said that the tapes would not be admissible knew that there was something wrong. Like everybody knew, but nobody said anything or stood up for them. Well, stood up for justice. None of them. So let's fast forward to current times today. Let's just imagine all of the kids who are being found guilty. Like, and I'm talking about minorities. I know race is something that we don't like to talk about. It's a sensitive subject, but it's the reality, guys. It's a reality. And it's a painful reality because if you think about it, these are souls that had potential that pretty much grew up in jail. And all of them were abused. The 16-year-old was too old for a juvenile, so they put him in the regular prison or the regular jail. And I remember reading a caption that said, as soon as he stepped in the jailhouse, they said he was going to be the main hoe. The inmates said that, and the prison guards. So he was probably abused from then on, the moment he went into jail, and was innocent all that time. So fast forward to today, that same woman who wanted to just pin, and she was calling them pigs and riffraff and just whatever. She went on to write novels and was a multi-platinum selling bestseller. And her career was amazing. And I heard as of yesterday or the day before, she resigned from her job. But here's the caveat. She got to live 12 years of her life in glory, and everyone was just proclaiming that she was this big superstar. And yet, where's the justice for those boys for what she purposely did? She said that the series was lying, but I can't fathom that that whole entire series was just made up like that. I cannot fathom that. And where would the eyewitnesses come from where they would just have accounts from, these different detectives and what they did and the kids, you know? Another thing that was a little troubling too was the father of one of the boys. Um, he was trying to convince the detective, like, come on, like, this is my son, I know him. And then he said, yeah, I know. But this is where you work, right? So wherever he worked, he was like, yeah, you had a past, didn't you? So that detective pretty much threatened him for the father's job, if he didn't get his son to admit to a crime he did not commit. All just so that they can hurry up, close the case, and go home. Mind you, nobody had a lawyer. And most of the kids didn't have parents. The Spanish kid had a guardian. The grandmother was there, but she did not speak English. The detective said, "Oh yeah, we'll have a translator," because the father had to go to work, and there was no translator. And pretty much, he was in interrogation by himself. So yes, guys, this is real life. And I even for a moment used to on YouTube watch different stories about that, like how some people are advocating for minorities, especially the teenage ones who um, get sentenced for like high sentences for minor things over their counterparts, their Caucasian counterparts. So this is real, guys. Racism has never gone anywhere. It's just hitting in plain sight. Yes. But we here on Hello World are just here to pretty much help each other realize the realities of our world and change that for the better. While racism may never go away, we definitely can make a great example of what not to do. Because now that we know these stories that are true, especially these five young men whose lives were destroyed from what happened to them, especially since they were innocent. That's the worst part. They were innocent and off of a made up story and went to jail for 12 years. It's crazy. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it also proves that, you know, having people in jail um, is the biggest moneymaker for private investors. I've learned that as well. And a lot of the private investors are people and businesses that we shop from often who are making lots of money off of inmates who make no money. And you can always look up these factual things on YouTube and or just Google search and you will see. I hope you won't be surprised, but you will see a lot of our biggest brands that we support on a daily basis actually own a big portion of our US prison and are happy to throw people in prison, especially um, these are the groups that they love thrown in prison. Our unfortunate drug addicts, minorities, and people who do not have money, right? You think $500 is a little bit of money, but some people don't have $500 to bail themselves out, even $100 to bail themselves out. So that's how they end up being in jail and how the jail system just makes money off of them. I don't know. How do we how in the world can something like this really be fixed? Those innocent boys have a food chain. Yeah, they do. So, like in episode 3 that I saw where they all were released, or some of them got released and others, at the time period where they all were released. So the Spanish kid, he went back to his old neighborhood, and they showed a scene where he was taking his first shower outside of jail, and he was showering with his underwear on. Yep. So just by seeing that alone, you already know what happened to that boy. And like you saw when he was in jail, how he progressed from this cute little boy to like the ringleader of the cell. Like he was telling people when he was taking things from people. So he probably was doing drugs or selling drugs in jail. And then when somebody walked him, he just put his finger up and they stopped. So he was some kind of leader in jail. Um, so I have to finish watching episode 3 and episode 3 and episode 4, because I believe episode 4 will definitely tell us where they are and what they're doing now currently. And they'll probably be I assume they'll probably have the real life characters in the actual show so that we can see what they're doing. And the one kid, the 16-year-old who literally was just there to be a support to a friend, he ended up in Rikers Island, which is like the worst prison to be in, and spent most of his time in solitary confinement. And he was the one that they considered that was going to be the hoe when he first walked in. So I don't know, guys. So I don't know, but I'm also thankful that you know any one of us, women or men, it could have happened to any one of us. So I'm just thankful that my life hasn't led down that road, and hopefully it never does. Because as you can see, the court system can make you look very guilty, even though you're very innocent. And they even said the neighborhood who said these boys were really good kids. I don't know if media changed things around, turned around and said, yeah, they saw that some of them were troubled. So anything can happen. See, the whole world doesn't know who we all are. Only a few of us, and they will definitely not try to reach out to the few of us. They'll just, tell the whole world a story that is made up. So just be careful in how you live your life. You know, I don't know what everybody's aspirations are in life, what you want to do, but try your best to stay on the right side as much as possible. And sometimes that's impossible depending on what the circumstances are. But just know that things really are not fair, especially if you are financially not okay, if you're a minority, and if you're uneducated. Those are the top 3 things that our system, I believe our legal system can really get you caught up and get you caught up and just stuck in the race. Anyway, I was on here to talk about cleanliness, guys. But yes, that story bothered me. And if you all get a chance, I say we all should be aware of things. Like, watching a story like that should only make us more aware of what the realities are. And also, maybe we can all become advocates. Maybe if that's what your calling is, and you never know what your calling is until something really hits you, and you're like, man, I need to give a voice to that situation. Or even if by just knowing who we are investing into, right? Because we're the everyday consumer. And the everyday consumer only just makes these big mega companies without calling them out, because a lot of them are doing it publicly, but nobody is saying, hey, what are you doing sewing into the private sector and making investments and making millions of dollars off of free labor from inmates who could be innocent, some guilty, but could be innocent and just want to keep them in jail. So, yes. So, anyway, up to the topic at hand. How many of you Go to public restrooms and get utterly disgusted when you see your counterpart, meaning a perfect stranger, flush, you don't hear zzz, and walk away. I mean, I know Jenny B is always talking about one person that she sees called Two Fingers. She's Two Fingers because she literally goes to the restroom, grown woman goes to the restroom, fiddles in her hair with her two fingers, and then walks straight out the bathroom without washing her hands. Now, I remember when I was growing up um, in college, one of my classmates in the dorm, and I said, "Hey, you didn't wash your hands." She was like, "Oh no, I didn't touch anything." At that point, I was like, "You will never handle my food." In my head, I said, "You will never handle my food ever again," because once you're aware and you know how some people flow, you have a decision on whether you want to partake in their extra bacteria from urinal or feces or whatever, or if you want to just protect yourself. Because up until then, I thought she washed her hands. So from that moment on, when I found out that she didn't wash her hands, trust and believe, I did not eat anything after her. If she stuck her bare hands in a bowl or something, I didn't eat nothing later. I definitely didn't eat nothing after that. If she was offering me something with her bare hands, I was like, no, I'm good. Like, you love not washing your hands, so I'm not gonna be the one. You know, I'm not going to be the one, not today. And then there are some people who I don't want to step foot in their house because of how they leave the kitchen in the job that I work at. So I see that some people like to eat on our table and not wipe it down after they're done. Like, have you forgotten there's other people that might want to eat after you? So when they do that, I'm just like, if you do that here, then at home, it's probably the same thing. This is all cleanliness because this is how germs and bacteria continue to spread, right? Because if you're one, not washing your hands and then going to prepare food and then giving it to someone else, you don't know how their immune system is. Their immune system can be so weak. And if it's weak, you compromise it even more with your dirty hands. Yes, you do, right? I did a tutorial on how to use the public restroom. So when you go into the public restroom, here are some tips. Here are some easy, friendly tips. Before you turn that knob inside, you would like to take a slither of paper, one, just because we want to save the environment, one little slither from the toilet paper roll slither, and you turn the knob with that over your hands. Because remember, when we all use the restroom, right? We're not washing our hands until we go out. Ooh, not till we step out. So if we're stepping out, whatever was on your hands is now on that. Or so yes, do it before. Once you finish doing number one, two, three, or four, you want to politely, you know, see, this is where up to where you should wash your hands, right? You want to use the soap, whether it's the thing like this, or the thing like this, or the pump. Lather up your hands, lather up your hands, run it under the sink. Oh, you still have soap on there. Run it under the sink, slop, slop, slop. Take your paper towel, one, two, or three. I usually get three. I don't know why. Maybe because the paper is not that thick. So I want that thickness. And dry your hands. And before you throw that paper towel away, use it on the way out for people like Two Fingers and more. Because what's the sense of washing your hands, cleaning your hands, and walking out the door and soiling them again because of someone who was selfish and didn't wash their hands? We have no idea what people carry in their system. Sorry, this fan is going crazy. My computer is heated all the way up. We have no idea what people carry. So, therefore, wash your hands. Now, when we get to the kitchen, guys, this is a good way you can, kind of tell who you can eat from and who you can't just by how they handle stuff. So, if okay, someone buys or brings you, say, popcorn to the office, three things to look out for. Is the person or persons and are the person or persons in the office using a piece of tissue to get the popcorn out? Are they pouring it out or are they going bare fingers? I hate when I see people go, well, I didn't touch anything. I don't care if you didn't touch anything. In my head, you went like this. Even when you're like this. Just what's hard with doing this or just taking a paper towel or a piece of tissue and going like that and dishing it out? I remember one time I saw this is like a shared thing, right? Oh, so they were doing like, a trial run of a program in the building. And they had different snacks out, and there were no tongs to be found. No tongs. Why do you not have tongs? So, some people, they're just so gross. And they'll go on with their bare hands. Like, come on, man. We all inadvertently pick our noses. We all do stupid, nasty things at the office, and we all touch things at the office that may not be surface clean. And then you want to go into a public surrounding and go like this. And then sometimes when there are tongs, people forget the tongs and they push them aside and go with their bare hands. I'm like, why? Why are you going with your bare hands? Like, you all make me sick. I just say, I'm not going to have none. Or I need to be the first one. And then, you can go ahead with your bare fingers. Like, that's nasty, guys. In public settings, that's nasty. So if I find that you're the one who goes like this or like that, barehanded, I'm not eating from you because this is all I can imagine when you're cooking. That's good. Or with the spoon tasting, testing stuff. That's good. Mm-hmm. Because you're certainly not looking out for me. Hmm. That's just how I feel. Guys, chime in on the chat if you've ever experienced any of these situations, or if you firsthand saw somebody doing something that was potluckish and, in the preparation stages did some suggestive things and then went ahead and just put it out for everyone else to eat. Mm-mm. Oh, I've been one to point out people and be like, listen, this person, you might not want to eat from them only because, they did X, Y, and Z. And, I see how they are. So you can only imagine how the inside of their house looks. Yeah, you might want to just think twice before you go ahead and have some of that. Mhm. It's true. It is very true. Some people just don't wash their hands, or some of them are just some people are not being selfish, but they just don't think about like, oh, I could possibly get someone sick if I don't do X, Y, and Z, and they just do. Mm-mm. Run. On a serious note, guys, like if we don't if we don't do the simple things to protect our immune systems, we can compromise others who may not have as much or as good of an immune system as yours. So if you are preparing things for people to eat, please try or your best behavior to make sure your kitchen is cleaned and everything is spick and span if you're going to be given to a general public, because the last thing you want to be known for is a person that got everybody sick, and then nobody really will want to eat from you. Nor do you want to be the person with that conscience of, man, I got somebody sick because I didn't handle things properly. So yes, we have to be careful. And I know a lot of times people want to be respectful and just even though they feel like somebody is not hygienically clean and they're offered food, I'm still gonna say no. My health is all I have. And who knows how quickly I can recover from something that's transmitted because somebody didn't wash their hands before they started cooking my food. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and sharing. Turn on your ding 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 so you know when I'm on with Hello World. I'm extra shiny all over. I look like palm olive is all over me. Yeah. So like somebody put some oil, like like I got baptized in oil all over. I could laugh about that. It's okay. I would say there's no limit to the amount of times you wash your hands a day. And also too, are if you protect your own self, we have a lot of germs and bacteria alone, just household things, right? Alone. We can't get everything. But like if you are doing your best to keep your hands clean with regular soap and water, you don't have to use this antibacterial thing because that just messes up the water supply. But soap and water is good enough. Like the regular soap and water is good enough. If we could just do that, you know how many germs could be cut back and down? If people did like, and there's a lot of people who are guilty of not washing their hands, not being hygienal. I don't know. Whoever watches this playback, if I'm stepping on your toes, so be it. Because that's part of caring for your mankind and human society. Because if you show that much respect for cleaning up after yourself and also cleaning yourself, then you really do care about the community and your society. We can talk, we can be inspirational, we can do all of that. But if we're not hygienal, how does that help the cause? It's true. How? How does that help the cause if we're not hygienal? You know? Another thing too, like with cleaning, some people literally don't clean. And I think that's how like germs, that's how people get sick in the home because your home is contaminated and you're breathing in all those excess toxins from not being clean, right? Because all the dust gathers and builds up, regardless of whether you see it or not. Everything needs a nice wipe down from time to time. If you see a stain, clean it up. If you see like, if you see that there's poop all over the toilet, clean it up. If you see like there's toothbrush paste on the mirror, clean that up. Like be aware of that and clean it up. Those are germs. And plus, it just makes the place look nicer when it's together and it wards off rodents. Yes, it does. Also, that and putting Brillo pads in every hole of your house will keep rodents away because they don't like that stuff. It's like sharp needles to them, so they're not gonna try to penetrate through Brillo pad. And I heard boracic. Wait, something borasic, borad, something like that. Um, is good too. to help keep rodents away and ants and stuff like that. So, yes, guys, we definitely have to step up our game in cleanliness. All of us. We all do, you know? And also when you are, treating your body good and protecting it by being hygienical, you kind of ward off diseases too. I heard, and I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but I heard that, and this was like a TV ad, I guess. I heard that a lot of doctors can tell when the beginning of a disease could be by just checking your teeth. So try to go to your regular dental office visits too. I am guilty because I haven't been to the dentist in a while, but I'm going. I'm going very soon because I need some teeth pulled, and it needs to be done. So I need to take care of that. I don't want anything to. I don't want anything to potentially um, cause a disease because I didn't take care of my mouth. So guys, that's important to take care of your mouth. It's important to take care of your vision because they say also in the eyes, general health of your eyes, they can tell if there's going to be a disease that comes on set too. Just get a general scope of your body. Try to go to all of your routine appointments. That's part of being cleanly. That's part of cleanliness too. Just taking care of yourself as much as you can. Preventative measures as much as you can. That also shows another person, other people, examples of how being positive can positively impact your life. Because when you're healthy, you are in a better state, in a mind state. Your mind frame is better because it's free from the stress of being ill. So yes, I take this very seriously. Cleanliness very seriously. Because as they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. And if we all proclaim to be godly, it's for all our Christians out there, if we all proclaim to be godly, we will be cleanly. We'll practice cleanliness, right? But seriously, across the board, all of us need to step up our game. I need to step up my game as well. Just keeping up, especially with the dental visits, I need to keep up with that more. And I need an eye exam. I need to do all of those things. So those are the two things that I need to do. But I'm going to do them. And I challenge all of you to do the same. If you have not kept up with your yearly appointments, your 6-month appointments, just do it. You know, your body deserves a little, a nice little oiling. And then, I need to put these down. Maybe one day. Not today, though. I'm a work in progress. I'm trying. Yes, we need to take care of ourselves, guys. And think about it. The next time you decide to present a dish at the potluck, remember this conversation. Be extra clean and be on the prowl, the lookout for every dish that comes in. And I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but we're in a day and age where a common cold could turn out to be like stage 10 something. So like let's try to limit that. Let's try to limit that and be more careful when it comes to you know um, being hygienical in public settings. That would be an encouragement, I think, to a lot of people. Cleanliness is almost as important as putting it down on our vision boards. Because some people really do have a hard time for whatever reason, maybe circumstances may cause it, or whatever the case may be. Some people just can't do things, which I'm not blaming them for anything at all. So, therefore, for us who are healthy, if we see somebody who needs help, or are in need, volunteer your time to help clean for the person who can't do it for themselves. Because there are people that can't do it for themselves. So just help. Take all the necessary tools. Hey, aromatic suds! Talking about cleanliness, and I know you know all about that because you always have your gloves on when you're making soap. So, yeah, when there are people who cannot do for themselves, then we need to help them out. And I don't think it's something that we should shame people for if they're not practicing cleanly behavior, because you don't know what the case may be. Maybe they can't even afford to purchase household cleaning items, or maybe they've never taught. So, like, for us who do know better, it's our obligation and duty to help. That's part of being an inspiration. That's part of helping our world get better. And then don't make fun of people who can't do things for themselves, especially if it's cleaning or cooking, or just don't even know that there's certain things that they shouldn't do uh, when they're going to present to like a group of people outside of their own home. Or if you see someone doing that, just gently tell them, hey, like, that remember, that's gonna be for the public. So, let's try not to cut corners. It's bad enough when we go to restaurants, a lot of the restaurants cut corners. And I heard that it's in a lot of elite restaurants where they cut corners really bad. So, you know, just be careful. If there's one thing you can control, it's your home environment. And if you need help, ask for help. Ask a trusted friend if they can help you. But we all have an obligation and a duty to be on top of what cleanliness looks like and what cleanliness is. I'm going to put a link up, probably up top, one over here, to that video about the tutorial on how to use the public restroom. You may get a kick out of it, you may get a laugh. Um, but in all seriousness, I think in that video, I did it because I was so mad because I think I had gotten sick because of someone or a group of people that were not practicing cleanliness or whatever the case may be. So that's why I'm so adamant about this, because people are getting sick. I might have been an example of that, for things that they could prevent by just simply washing your hands with soap and water or preparing something in a clean setting. Make sure you guys are throwing that thumbs up if you like this video, or commenting below. If you ever want to check out any of the previous episodes, we sometimes talk about very, very, very serious things. Like in the beginning of this live, I was talking about something that was very, very serious and very true, a topic that is very hard to talk about, but is necessary for us to do. If you ever wanted to see, um, hi, if you ever wanted to see any of the previous episodes from the Our Lives Seen Through My Eyes series, you can definitely check that out. Everything that this YouTube channel is all about like building awareness. It's all about sharing things just so people know that they're not alone, because we all battle things, sometimes silently, sometimes publicly, and even sometimes in public. Um, See, even sometimes when we publicly are hurting and show it and express it, we're still silently dying inside. So the more we become open and sharing, just different things, the more we can create a healing pod or a pond. And then you know how ponds go, they start streaming all over the place. And that's how the rest of our world is much better. Even though every day, little by little, it is getting better. I just need you guys to continue to believe that, though. I really do. Because It can't just be one or two people here and there. It needs to be a strong nucleus of us. Really, really believe in that. Our world is better, has been getting better since the inception of time, and will always get better as long as we continue to apply whatever we talk to each other about, whatever we learn, whatever we apply to our own lives, and just spread it out. But this is a topic very necessary, very necessary. I'm dead serious about that. A lot of people do not practice good hygiene. And, again, some people were never taught, but we need to start practicing good hygiene. It's important because while we take care of the mental, we have to take care of the physical just as much. You can't be a sick shell trying to help people when your strength is so low, right? That's how you get attacked more and faster because you're not strong enough. So just try your best to be strong by doing the little things that can help boost your health and your immune system little by little. You don't know what a little change in your diet can do, or a little change in your patterns on how you clean can do, or even just how you take care of yourself before you go to bed. We have to really, really, really buckle down and get it right, or at least try to get it right, or a little bit. And for those who we know are struggling, go buy some household groceries for people, household item, cleaning items for people. Yes, you can do that. Gently go over like, hey, can I help clean or whatever? Some people are so embarrassed to admit that they need help in cleaning. But I don't see any problem in that, especially if you can't do it yourself. I think an understanding person who genuinely wants to help you and not judge you will do that. And look at how much better a person can feel knowing that the inside of their home is clean when they couldn't do it themselves. This is cleanliness, guys. It branches out into so many different ways and areas, right? Like, I joke around a lot, but like when I'm sitting here thinking about it, um, it really does impact a lot more than just the person who is not clean. Here's what happens. If you can't keep, let's just say if you're just responsible for your own bedroom, if you can't keep your bedroom clean and everything is just disheveled, how are you going to be able to think clearly about anything else? But when you walk into a room that's neat, put together, you're not stubbing your toe, you're just free to walk around. Do you know how good that makes you feel and how complete that makes you feel? So consider it, guys. Just consider it. This is important. Consider it. And when you're more aware of practicing clean habits, when you go to your grocery store, you will be more aware to check on the different items and the dates to make sure nothing is expired. You're going to check your fruits and vegetables over. You're going to smell them to see if they smell um, ripe. There's some fruits and vegetables you can tell by the smell if they're ripe and juicy, or if they're just not ready yet. So, yes, it's important. It's very important. Here's another thing, too. You know, when you leave your home for whatever case may be, like I was always taught like you make your bed has to be made before you leave. And there's a way to shake out dust. Because we all shed skin when we sleep. So if it like, patting everything down, shaking out your blankets or whatever, at least you're getting that dust off somehow. Cleanliness, guys, is just as important as talking about being inspirational and being and aspiring to be an inspiration. It's it's all the way up there too. All the way up there. I'm trying to see why this fan is going crazy. It's all the way up there important. So if you happen to be a person that does not practice good hygiene, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not judging you. But what am here to say is that today's video must have been necessary for you to watch, or to listen to, or to see when it's over, because it's going to help you. You put one aspect in your life in order and everything else starts to fall into place as well. Think of it that way. Think of it also, you're protecting the environment. Because when you clean up, you're going to clean up outside too. I need to clean the inside of my car. And it's driving me crazy because while there's just a little debris here and there, it's just driving me crazy because I just want to get clean. I like to see things clean. So that's just me. And also, like, I also remember growing up being told you always wear your good clean underwear because you never know if there's an emergency and they need to cut your underwear. They're gonna see your underwear. Like, what? Wait a second, if they're cutting it, how they gonna know it's clean? So I can wear the holiest underwear and it doesn't matter because as soon as they cut it, that hole was no longer there. Jenny. you know, it doesn't make sense though. It's like that's an oxymoron if you think. Wear clean underwear because if an emergency ever happens, they're gonna see your underwear. Like they're not even paying attention to your underwear. They're paying attention to reviving you. They're not gonna go back and say, well, maybe they might. But then at that moment, they're gonna say, oh, she had on some pretty roses on her underwear. Did you see that pattern? I've never seen that pattern before. That was my favorite patient because the pattern of her underwear was nice. Her underwear and bra matched, or his boxes were nice. They're not looking at that. Where did you get those boxes from? They're not gonna come to your hospital room and be like, "Hey, where did you get those boxes from?" Because I really like them. I'm sorry I had to cut them, but I really like them. Nobody's doing that. But yes, we shouldn't, keep underwear too long because after a while, the bacteria just, you know, gets stained in there, and you don't want to put your precious goods in bacteria. Even after you've washed it over time, you still should, frequently switch them over. Anyway, that's what I was told. So, you I'm guilty of probably having some expired underwear. You know what? They should start putting expiration dates on underwear. I invented that. If it really happens, I invented that. Hot water in between, kill those germs. Yeah, but imagine, okay, Jenny, imagine if you have underwear that after a while it just stays yellow, or after a while that whatever spot was on there is just not coming off. Like that expired. I know a friend cousin of mine. She said she bought new underwear every 6 months. I was like, really? I didn't know. She was like, yeah, they get nasty after that. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know. Throw it away. Yes. So, yes, expiration date. Let's just say underwear has an expiration date of 6 months. So, every 6 months, we all should be rotating our underwear. See, that's facts. There you go. Get fresh new bras so the wires can hold you up a little bit more. Guys, change your boxes. Change your boxes and whatever your boxes, your briefs, whatever you're wearing, guys, change them. Don't wear them just because, like, well, they're still good because there's no hole in it. Throw them away. Get some fresh ones. Underwear, they're cheap enough now that you can get in a 6, 10 pack and be good. Bigger bus people. Yeah, we may laugh, but this is all true and it's helpful. It's definitely helpful. And these are things that, may be embarrassing to talk about, but it's necessary because some people really don't know. Some people don't know. We can't fault them if they don't know. But once you know, then that's when you're responsible because you're only responsible for knowing things. So now we know that cleanliness is just as high and the same importance, if not more important, to being an inspiration to others as being an inspiration to others. You know, lead by action. Who has ever paid any attention to a person that was very disheveled in their appearance and in their body odor? How much did you pay attention to them and took them seriously? Versus someone who is clean, well kept, and smell fresh. You don't even have to put perfume on, but just doesn't have a scent to them. But they're smelling good, or that they're clean. Which of the two will you take more seriously? So there you go. Cleanliness is important, guys. It's very important. Anyway, thank you for joining me in another episode of Hello World. And I appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of your time every single night. I am here between 7 and 9. Um, sorry, I had to look at what she wrote. Um, it's really is an honor when you guys come on. Tracy, I don't know if you're still here, but it was a pleasure seeing you. So I could sing to you. And everyone else who has been with me all the time, Jenny B, Aromatic Suds, all of you guys, Clem, all of you guys. I don't know if who else is here besides Jenny, but you guys really do encourage me. You inspire me in the different things that you do. Some of you I watch daily, others I see daily, but like I want us to stay encouraged. I want you to know that you're beautiful, you're necessary. Everything about you is amazing. Even all of the imperfections, and all we are all full of imperfections. But it's because of those imperfections, it's because of those imperfections. It's because of those imperfections that make us beautiful, guys. Just know, it doesn't matter where you come from in this walk of life. We're here to do things together. We're here to work things we're here to figure things out together. We're here to talk about things that are very hard to talk about sometimes. And sometimes it's very embarrassing to talk about, but it's necessary. Because what is the point of Hello World if we're not able to apply something to make our lives just a little better so that we can help others who don't know better? And also, it helps us think about people who really can't do certain things that we can probably help them do. Give a little bit of your time to help somebody clean, even if it's their front yard, even if it's their car. If they're willing to allow you to help them, just help them. So until we meet again tomorrow, this is episode 91 because, as I stated earlier, 90 got deleted by our beautiful neighbors, Netflix. I'm not mad at them. Make sure you check out the mini series When They See Us. You will see the full story of those boys we were talking about. Um, Make sure you just have a beautiful evening, a beautiful life, a beautiful night. And just until we meet again tomorrow, stay encouraged, stay uplifted. When you go through your down times, remember the different things that we talk about to help pick you up just a little faster. Don't stay down long. Be amazing, guys. Be a blessing. Because if you can be a blessing to me, imagine what you can do for others. Because I'm hard. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And you be amazing. Hello, world. This is Joy signing out from Be the Difference Clothing.